you.
Welcome to Ask Gwen, everyone. Tonight with me, I have Roula, and I'm going to let Roula take it away and share her story with you guys. And so, welcome, Roula.
Hi, Wynn. Thank you so much for having me on. It's such an honour and lovely to meet you. Now, I don't know, what do you want, the long version or the short version? Which one do you want?
We've got time.
We've got time? Cool.
The long version.
Yeah. All right. So in 2007, my life changed forever. I was diagnosed with acute lymphoblastic leukemia, and I had to have treatment straight away. I had a few weeks to a few months to live without treatment. And with treatment, I needed to have a bone marrow transplant. Otherwise, I only had 5% chance survival. So it was a really difficult time, because it was like a crisis on all levels. I had to stop work, have treatment pretty much the next day. And so I had to leave my job. My husband at the time had started a new business, and so there really, wasn't much money coming in. I went up to Brisbane to get the treatment. We lived on the Gold Coast, which is about an hour away, and Mum came with me. They moved up from Sydney, Mum and Dad, but Mum stayed with me in a unit in Brisbane, which the Leukemia Foundation found for me and provided. And so I was away from my family as well. So because the girls were 3 and 10 and they were going to school. So my dad stayed with my husband, the girls, and them on the Gold Coast. So initially I had to have 6 months of the most intensive chemotherapies available. It turned out to be about 8 months, because we needed to find a bone marrow donor. And so it ended up being a bit longer. So we eventually found a donor. We couldn't find a donor for a while. That's why it took an extra 2 months. We found one in America. Apparently he was a very good match. He was about 100%, but he pulled through. So we ended up finding one in Germany, a male donor. God bless his soul. Thank God for him. But it wasn't a good match. And because of this, I had a lot of complications. The chemo was very hard, and it was tough. And, I had viruses, infections, fevers, and so on. But to get ready and prepare for the bone marrow transplant, that was just on another level. Like, that was, extremely difficult. They had to wipe out your whole immune history. It's not just with chemo, they wipe out just your bad cells. With this, they wipe everything out in order to prepare for the new bone marrow, the donor's bone marrow. And because of this, you're very susceptible, to catch anything, because you really have got no immune system, and you're isolated for a very long time. Like I had whole body radiation for an hour at a time for 3 days during this time, and then a very intensive dose of chemo again. And, my insides were all burnt, had to be fed through a tube. And that was about 6-7 weeks like that. I was isolated for a very, very long time. And, it's just, I'm not going to go through the whole thing of what I went through, but it was really, because the list is very long. And because I did have a lot of complications. They like it to have some, but not to the extent that I had, probably because it wasn't a good match. And some of the things that I, went through were graft versus host, which is a common side effect, but probably not to the extent I had it. It's where the donor's cells realize, your body realizes the donor's cells are foreign, and they start attacking it. you know, and so they hit you with very high doses of steroids. I had so I had that first in my skin, then I had it in my gut, and lots of viruses and infections. I'd take 5 steps forward and only to have something happen and have to take 10 steps back. And that was probably the hardest thing that I had to do. Just keep on, you get a bit better, and then you have to keep on having 10 steps back because something else happens. I had, my kidney was damaged from a virus. I was so weak, I had lost about 10 kilos, and I could, after the transplant, I could barely walk up the stairs. I was so weak, and my lungs were so weak as well. And for a long time there, for a while there, I had to, inhale antibiotics or try and build up my lungs as well. Because obviously I didn't do too much walking in the hospital. When I got home is when I, pretty much more started doing things. Because eventually when I went home, as I said, I was so weak I could barely walk up the stairs. Like, that's how bad it was. But slowly, the chronic fatigue was, one of the hardest things. But it took a long time for me to get over that, and to get stronger with that. But eventually, when I got home, I started going on my kayak and started walking, started riding my bike, and started building up my strength and stamina. And yeah, it was very difficult. I almost went blind. That was another thing. I had to, whether it was the radiation or the treatment, I had to have, one operation was I almost went blind, and then I had to have several other ones after that. Thank God I can see now. But some of the things your body is put under so much extreme stress and they don't know what's going to shut down, how your body's going to cope with that, extensive treatment. And that's the hard thing. And luckily I was physically fit and healthy and strong before I went through this. And so my body was in a good position to be able to withstand some of that extreme treatment.
Well, good, because yeah, chemo could do a number on you. So, Lola, what is your favorite book?
My favorite book, I don't have a favorite. I have a lot that I like. There's I can't pick a favorite, to be honest. There's quite a few there. There's Jim Rohn. I've always loved Jim Rohn. Jim Rohn's books. Anthony Robbins, Earl Nightingale. Like, there's some of my favorite authors. Og Mandino. Yeah, I can't say I have a favorite, because once I like a book, I reread it. Yep. I reread it, later, a few years later, and then you pick up more and more.
Yep. So, what is your morning routine?
My morning routine. Look, at the moment, I'm studying counselling. I'm studying diploma in counselling. So I like to go to the gym, and so at the moment I'm doing yoga and Pilates at the gym. So I try and do that 3 to 4 times a week during the week, sometimes 5 if I'm really good. And then I'll get stuck into, I might have some appointments or some errands, but I'll get stuck into the work that I have to do for the day. It's a bit full on with the the work I've got now. Yeah.
So your me time is basically at the gym.
Yes. I like to sit down and have a coffee outside, preferably if it's nice weather, and just enjoy the moment, and being, in nature, and my gardens, my sanctuary. And yes, that the gym is me time. It's good for my mental and physical health. It helps me. Yes.
So if your BFF, if your best friend had to write a book about you, what would the title be?
The title, You're a Survivor.
Probably because
Yeah.
you survived cancer, geez. And
Mm.
so what if you had to move and only take 5 things with you, and yes, your family could come, what would they be?
5 things. They would be my toiletries, my coffee. It's a never-ending coffee. It's something that, and my phone, which is doesn't need a, is eternally charged, because I seem to rely on that now. It's just everything's on there, and even my phone. That's 3. Probably a book I like, and my laptop.
Yep.
That's yeah. But
And
that's not sentimental stuff. That's just stuff that I'd take.
that's
Toiletries.
not sentimental stuff. That's not sentimental stuff. Yeah,
Yes.
you probably would end up taking your family plus that stuff because
Oh God, yeah, of course.
oh,
But it depends. They might not even be here, because one daughter lives in Sydney, and the other one, although she lives with me, she's in and out. She's at the age now where she's out a lot, and so she'd probably follow.
she would probably fall.
Yeah.
And so as we wrap this interview up, number 1, where could people find you? And number 2, do you have any questions for me?
Yes, I do. I want to know what made you want to start a podcast.
I wrote a book several years ago now, 10 years ago, and I published that book, and it turned itself into this podcast, and I've been doing this podcast for 10 years and going strong, and yeah.
Wonderful. 10 years. Is that how long?
Yeah, 10 years.
Wow, that's fantastic. Yeah. When I didn't tell you about my second cancer.
Oh, geez. You got a second cancer? I thought
it wasn't just one. I'll tell you briefly about that one before we wrap it up. So I did have a second cancer 10 years after I felt, it took me a long time to get back to being fit and healthy. And I felt fantastic. I felt great. I felt fit, strong, and I was with a new partner, and everything was looking good. And then I was diagnosed with a secondary cancer. So, I was devastated. And that was a result from the treatment that I had with the leukemia. So that was really devastating to me. So, and
leukemia, had the treatment, and then got a second cancer as a result.
Yes.
And what was that second cancer?
The second cancer was a breast cancer. Yes.
Leukemia. From leukemia.
Yeah.
From the treatment of
from the treatment, yes. They thought it was the radiation, yes. Yes, so life throws you some big curveballs, and I think it's, how we react to them, because I was very devastated. But you know, it took me a while to get my head around that, but I eventually did. And, you know, with the first cancer, I ended up writing a book myself, you know, and it's called Stronger You Can Overcome and Bounce Back from Adversity. Because I thought with everything I've been through, I would really love to help others get through their difficult times, you know, and you know, we all get down and depressed, but especially when we go through trauma and crisis like this, but we don't stay there. So I really want to, you know, be able to help them get through those dark days, and we can thrive again. Yeah.
Oh,
So
can people find your book on Amazon?
yes, they can find it on Amazon. So Roula Selinas, Stronger You Can Overcome and Bounce Back from Adversity.
Yes, Stronger You Can Overcome and Bounce Back from Diversity. And then where can people find you?
Okay, so they can go to roulaselinas.com, which is RoulaSelinas.com. They
So
can go on.
you can go to
Yes.
your website. They can
Yes.
find you. They can work with you. I'm presuming you're working with people internationally.
Yes. Yes. And they can register their, you know, subscribe to my website or message me on my website. If they subscribe on there too, they'll get some free tips and techniques. But they can also message me on roulaselinas@gmail.com.
Okay.
Yeah.
And then you can help them out from there. I'm sure that people will love your story and want you to help them out. Do you help other cancer survivors or do you help people in general or
Just people in general, anyone that's you
general?
know, gone through a crisis. I'm going to be running a small workshop, and that will be going through the techniques in the book. It's a 4-week course, once a week, and they can register on my website under the promotion. There's details about that, and yeah, so it's people in general. It's if they want to get some change, if people maybe have gone through a hard time and they're stuck, they want to change their beliefs and transform, yeah, their lives.
Well, I love it. And so I appreciate you guys listening and I appreciate Lauren coming on and sharing her story and helping you guys. And this pandemic will not go away. And so I think we're stuck in virtual mode as long as I know. And then we will see how Lauren can help you guys. And I
Yes,
appreciate Lauren coming on and sharing this story. I also appreciate you guys supporting this podcast. Bigger and better things are yet to come, you guys, as we rise above the ashes of 2020 and 2019. And so let's make this world a better place for you guys. Thanks,
yes.
guys. Bye.
Wonderful. Bye.